Grade 2, Chapter 3. Subtraction. Now what is subtraction? Subtraction is the opposite of addition. When you add, you put things together. When you subtract, you take things away. Adding is like somebody giving you donuts. I've realized that I've used donuts plenty of times, yes. And subtracting is when they take away donuts, or you eat the donuts. Anyhow, things such as 9 minus 3. Yes, it's called minus, not subtract. Well, you can say subtract, just like how you say 3, add 3 to 3. But since we're reading it like this, just like how in addition you say 3 plus 3 instead of 3 add 3, you say 9 minus 3. So 9 minus 3. You have 9. And then you take away 3. So you take away 3 and you get 6. Just like addition, you also have to remember your single digit subtraction. It is very important. So 9 minus 3, we just solved it. It's 6. If you want a more visual representation, you can have 9 circles. That's 9 circles. And then you take away 3 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 circles left. 7 minus 1. Well, you have 7. And then you take away 1. You still get 6. Even though the numbers are different, you can end up with the same answer. Just like addition. 4 plus 2 equals to 6, and 3 plus 3 is also equal to 6. Now let's do some practice problems. Our first question is 3 minus 1. Now we have 3 things, and then we take away 1. How many is that? 2. So 3 minus 1 equals to 2. What about 6 minus 2? So we have 6 things, and then we take away 2. 1, 2, and we get 4. 6 minus 2 equals to 4. 8 minus 4, well, that's a doubles fact, but we're going to be talking about doubles later. We have 8, and then you take away 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's still 4. 7 minus 6. You have 7 things, you take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you get 1. 5 minus 3. Let's do a diagram. A diagram is a fancy way of saying, it's a type of drawing, and it's a fancy drawing that shows a specific idea that usually has to do with numbers, or a concept, and is often used in textbooks. So we have 5 things, 1, 2, 3. We have 2 things left. That's 5 minus 3 equals to 2. Now what about 4 minus 2? So we have 4 things, and you take away 2, which is 2. 4 minus 2 equals to 2. Now remember, kids, you still have to remember your single digit subtraction. Practice makes perfect. Practicing is a good way to help you remember. Now that's section 1. If you want to go and do some practice problems or take a break, feel free to do so. So remember how in the last chapter you learned about the addition properties? There was the commutative property and the identity property. But in subtraction, we don't really have names for our properties, but there are a few rules, such as subtracting all and subtracting 0. Subtracting 0 is something like 7 minus 0. You have 7 cherries and you eat none of them. When you subtract 0, it does nothing. It just doesn't do anything. Because since subtracting is taking away and you're not taking away anything, it's going to still be the same. 7 minus 0 equals to 7. Now what about when you subtract all? Subtract everything. You take away everything. So what's left? Nothing. When you subtract all, you end up with 0. Say you have 6 apple slices. Well, actually 9 apple slices. And you eat all of them. It doesn't matter if you have 6 or 9 apple slices. If you eat all of your apple slices, which is 6 minus 6 or 9 minus 9, you're going to have no apple slices left. 9 minus 9 equals to 0. Now let's do some practice problems. 1 minus 0, you have 1 apple and you do nothing with it. Nobody takes it away, you don't eat it. You still have 1 apple left. So 1 take away 0 is still 1. Now what about 1 take away 1? You eat the apple or you give it to your friend. You have no apples left now because you only had 1 apple. So 1 minus 1 equals to 0. 8 minus 0. You have 8 gummy worms. And you don't do anything with them. You're still going to have 8 gummy worms. And because of the subtract 0 rule, you know that 8 minus 0 equals to 8. 0 doesn't do much, at least in subtraction and addition. Now, 8 minus 8. You eat all of your gummy worms. Well, that means that you have nothing left. And because of the subtract all rule, you know that you have nothing left. 6 minus 0, according to the subtract 0 rule, it does nothing. So you're still going to end up with 6. Now what about 6 minus 6? Well, subtract all rule says you end up with 0 because you took away everything and you have nothing left. So 6 minus 6 equals to 0. Now 3 minus 0. Subtract 0 rule, you have 3 cookies, you don't do anything with them. You're still going to end up with 3 because you've taken away nothing. And, well, there's no addition, so you're going to end up with the same number. Now, 3 minus itself, 3 minus 3, you took away everything. You have nothing left. So, 0. Now, 4 minus 0 is 0 rule, and you took away nothing, 4. You still have 4 left. It's still the same thing. Now 4 minus 4 is, you took away everything. You have nothing left. It's 0. Also, the subtract all rule. So that was subtract 0 and subtract all. You take away nothing or you take away everything. All or nothing. Now, let's move on. Or you can take a break. Remember when I talked about doubles and said that we were going to cover it later? Well, here we are, using doubles to subtract. Now, since we know that addition is putting things in and subtraction is taking things away, and they're opposites, they must be related somehow, right? So, if you know that a double equals to something, such as 9 plus 9 equals to 18. You know when that something subtracts one part of the double, then the answer is going to be the other part of the double. 18 minus 9 equals to 9. Here's an illustration. I'm just going to use tally marks, alright? So it's 9 plus 9. Alright, that's 18. So 18 take away 9 is 9. So let's use some double facts to help us subtract here. 2 minus 1. Well, we know that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Now what about 10 minus 5? Well, 10 minus 5, we have what addition doubles fact? 5 plus 5 equals to 10. So 10 minus 5 equals to 5. Now 8 minus 4. We know that 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. See, this is why you need to memorize your addition facts. 4 plus 4 equals to 8. 4 bagels plus 4 bagels is equal to 8 bagels. Now if you eat 4 of those bagels, then you're going to be left with 4 bagels. 8 minus 4 equals to 4, because 4 plus 4 equals to 8. Now 16 minus 8. If you memorized your addition facts, you would know that 8 plus 8 equals to 16. Now, let's just say 8 hot dog buns. Because I'm pretty sure, at least for where I'm from, a lot of the time they come in a pack of 8. So you have 2 packs, both of them have 8, 8 plus 8, you have 16 hot dog buns, but you use 8 of them. And then you're left with one more pack, which is 8. 16 minus 8 equals to 8. That's the end of this section. Now you can take a break whenever you want. So remember when we learned about finding patterns or patterning in chapter 1? Well, that's our problem-solving strategy for today. There are 8 chickens. How many legs are there in all? So what do you know? There are 8 chickens. And what do you need to find out? How many legs are there in all? Well, the problem doesn't really give you this, but usually chickens have 2 legs. Usually. So sometimes the question will not give you certain bits of information that they expect you to already know. Things such as cows have 4 legs, dogs have 4 legs, people have 2 legs, birds have 2 legs, and then there's fish that don't have legs. So we know that there's 8 chickens and each chicken will probably have 2 legs. Now what do we need to find out? How many legs are there in all? Our plan is basically just how will I get my answer? Well, we already have the strategy here. Find a pattern. Now remember the last section of chapter 1? Patterns and hundreds charts. When you count by 2s, you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now if you realized there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers here. That's 8 twos, which means that there are 16 legs for 8 chickens. Alright, step 4, always check your answer. Make sure that your information is correct and make sure that your math is correct. There are 8 chickens. How many legs are there in all? So we answered the question and we have 8 chickens. Is our math correct? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 8 times that we've counted by 2. So there's 16 legs. Our math is correct and our information is correct. So our answer should be correct. Now that's it for section 4. We're going to move back on into math. You can take a break whenever you want. So since we were talking about how addition and subtraction are opposites, addition is putting things in, subtraction is taking things away, how do they relate to each other? Well, you see, you have 3 plus 1 equals to 4. So 3 and 1 is equal to 4, which means that if you take 1 away from 4, so 4 minus 1, it will equal to 3. And if you take 3 away from 4, 4 minus 3, it will equal to 1. This is how subtraction will always be. If, say, something plus something equals to something else, or just something in general, then that thing minus any of the other somethings will be equal to the other something. Now, you may be thinking of the math jokes as, oh, I was fine with math until the numbers became letters. But letters are just a way to put in any number. You can put any number in any of these letters, and it will still be true. So, let's use some addition facts to subtract. Now, 4 plus 8. Or 8 plus 4, but commutative property of addition, order doesn't matter. So you have 8, and then when you add 4, for those that remember your addition facts, congratulations, good job. But for those that don't, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 plus 4 equals to 12. Oh look, 12 minus 4. Now, if you take 4 away from 12, it would just be 8. Because if you add 4 to 8, you get 12. So if you take 4 away from 12, then you would get 8. Say you have 8 green marbles and 4 blue marbles. You have 12 marbles. But if you take away the 4 blue marbles, you get 8 marbles. You took away the 4 from the 12, and you have 8, because 4 and 8 together is equal to 12. Now, question number 2. 3 plus 2. So 3 plus 2 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So what would 5 minus 3 be? Well, you have 5, and then you take out 3. That's just 2. Nine plus 5 you have 9, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You get 14. So what's 14 take away 9? Well, it's like this. This is 9, this is 5. Together, they're 14. But if you take away 9, then, well, you're left with 5. These are called facts that are related, or related addition-subtraction facts, which we will go over in the next section. Now, 6 plus 7. For those that remembered, 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. Please take the time to remember your addition facts. At least your single-digit ones, because those are the most important. Now we have 6 and 7, which equals to 13. So what would happen if you took 6 away from 13? Well, you're left with 7. You're not going to be magically left with 8, because if you're left with 8, then that would mean that it's 8 and 6. And 8 and 6 together is not 13. So, let's move on to the next related section. Section number 6 is about missing addends. How do we find those missing addends? Well, we use something called related facts. Related facts use the same 3 numbers. Doesn't that sound a little bit familiar? Kind of like the ABC stuff that I wrote last section. Well, here I am, writing them again. Alright, so let's write some related facts. 5 plus something equals to 12. That means that 12 minus 5 equals to that something. And that 12 minus that something equals to 5. So, what is that something? Well, what's 12 minus 5? Well, let's see. We have 12. We take away 1. 11, take away 2. 10, take away 3. 9, take away 4. 8, take away 5. We get 7. So 12 minus 5 equals to 7. Or, if you've remembered your addition facts, you would remember that 5 plus 7 equals to 12. So 12 minus 7 equals to 5. So let's do some practice problems. Find the missing addend. Something plus 4 equals to 11. 11 minus 7 equals to something. 11 minus 4 equals 2. So 11, you take away 4, is, well, 11, take away 1, 10, take away 2, 9, take away 3, 8, take away 4, 7. But if you remembered your addition facts, you would remember that 7 plus 4 is equal to 11. So what's 11 minus 7? 11 minus 7 is equal to, you could count back, but because of these related facts, you would know that 11 minus 7 equals to 4. Now 2 plus something equals to 10. 10 minus 2 equals to something. So what's 10 minus 2? 10 take away 1 is 9, so 10 minus 1 equals to 9. 10 take away 2 would be equal to 8. 10 minus 2 equals to 8, and then we get 2 plus 8 equals to 10. You could also solve this by remembering that 2 plus 8 is equal to 10, which is what I'm going to be doing over here. So if you remembered your single-digit addition, you would remember that 7 plus something equals to 13, and that something is equal to 6. 7 plus 6 equals to 13. So what's 13 minus blah equals to 6? What's that? Blah. Well, from our related facts, it would be 13 minus 7 equals to 6. We also have something plus 6 equals to 14. What's that something? Well, if you remembered your single-digit addition, then you would get 8 plus 6 equals to 14. So 14 minus 8 would equal to 6. Alright, guys. So that's section 6. Time to move on to section number 7, which is also related to section 5 and 6. Alright, so remember those 3 things? Well, technically, just technically, there's a 4th thing. Because in a fact family, most fact families have 2 addition facts and 2 subtraction facts. These 2 addition facts are because of the commutative property. Of addition. And now you may be wondering why. It's because, well, you could flip around the order of the addends, but you can't do that to subtraction. Which means that you're stuck with a plus b equals to c, b plus a equals to c, c minus a equals to b, and c minus b equals to a. Alright, so some fact families, such as doubles, basically just doubles, have 1 addition fact and 1 subtraction fact, because if you switch these around, it'd still be 5 plus 5. And there's really no point. And if you switched around the subtracted part, then it'd still be 10 minus 5. They're the same number sentence. Now let's complete each fact family. Alright, so we have, for our first one, 7 plus 5. Alright, what's 7 plus 5? If you remember, then good job. But for those that don't, 7 plus 5 would be, so let's count from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 plus 5 equals to 12. So what's 5 plus 7? Well, the commutative property of addition says that even if you switch around the order of addends, things that are added, the answer won't change. So it's still 12. Alright, so 12 minus 7. Well, since we know that 12 is made up of 7 and 5, then if we take away the 7, then we'd be left with 5. And if we take away the 5, we'd be left with 7. This would be the completed fact family. Now 4 plus 9 and 9 plus 4. Let's just do 9 plus 4 because it's easier counting from the larger number because you don't have to count that much. 9 plus 4, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. 9 plus 4 is equal to 13. And 4 plus 9 would also be equal to 13 because it's just the commutative property of addition and you just switched the addends around, which doesn't change much. 13 minus 9. Alright, so 9 and 4 make 13. So 13, if you take away the 9, you'd be left with 4. And if you take away the 4, you'd be left with 9. That's another fact family. 6 plus 9 and 9 plus 6. Okay, let's just do 9 plus 6 first. We have 9, and then we add on 6. For those that remember what this is, good job. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 9 plus 6 is equal to 15, and 6 plus 9 is going to be the same thing because you just switched around the order of the addends, and the commutative property says that order does not matter in addition, okay? The commutative property is not for subtraction, it's for addition. 15 minus 9. Okay, so since we know that 6 and 9 make up 15, if we take out the 9, then we're left with 6. And vice versa, which means the same thing if you do the opposite, if you switch it around. If you take away 6, we're left with 9. Now for our last question of this section, we get 8 plus 8, which is a doubles. If you remember your single digit addition, then you would remember that 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. But you could also count right now if you don't remember. Try to remember it as soon as possible though. Now, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. Now what's 16 minus 8? Well, if you take away 8 from 16 and 2 8s, 8 and 8, together is equal to 16, then you would get 8. 16 minus 8 equals to 8. And these are our completed fact families. Hooray! They're all related facts too. That's why they're a family. Now, we can move on to the last section of the chapter. Now remember, you guys can take a break at any time you want, and just please come back. So for our last section, we have a problem-solving investigation, where we get to choose our strategy. George makes 15 cream puffs. His siblings eat a few. There are 8 left when they finish. How many cream puffs did George's siblings eat? Choose a problem-solving strategy to solve. Now before we choose the strategy, first we need to know what the problem is asking us and what do we know. So what do we need to find? Usually it's close to the question mark. What we need to find is how many cream puffs did George's siblings eat? Okay, so what do we know? George makes 15 cream puffs, which means that we start with 15 cream puffs. His siblings eat a few. Okay, that doesn't give us much. So there are 8 left when they finish, is the important part. So how will I get my answer, or how will you get your answer? So here I'm going to introduce y'all to my favorite problem-solving strategy. You see, it starts with an M and ends with H, and it's a 4-letter word. Math. Math it out. This is a math class after all. So since we have 15 minus, because his siblings eat them, okay? So they're taking it away. Something, which is the number of cream puffs they ate, which is what we're trying to find, equals to 8, because there are 8 cream puffs left. That means that 8 plus something equals to 15. Now, for those of you who have remembered your, well, addition problems, you would know that 8 plus 7 equals to 15. So that would mean that 15 minus 7 equals to 8. If you haven't remembered them yet, you can always go 15 minus 8 equals to, that's an equal sign, the blank. And 15, you take away 8, and you'll get 7. Step 4, let's check. Make sure the information is correct. We have 15 cream puffs that we start with. There are 8 left when they finish. And our question is, how many cream puffs did George's siblings eat? So we've answered the right parts of the question. And is our math correct? Well, 8 plus 7 is equal to 15. So 15 minus 7 would be equal to 8. And 15 minus 8 is also equal to 7. But we've forgotten something. Something very important in at least later grades. It might even be important to you now, depending on your teacher. You need to write your sentence that says or states, because you aren't exactly reading the sentence out, your answer. His, you can also use George's, siblings ate 7 cream puffs. Okay? Remember, this is very important. At least in later grades. Or if your teacher likes or is stricter, then maybe even now. So, that's it. That's it for Chapter 3. Subtraction. Now remember your subtraction facts and remember your addition facts. Shouldn't be too hard, they're related. As long as you remember your addition facts, you should know your subtraction facts. Because remember, from sections 5, 6, and 7, that they're related. They're all families. Okay? And I'll see you next chapter, Chapter 4.